This is Matthew Cratter from Trader University, and today I want to talk about why the quote-unquote experts are always wrong. I'm going to give you a bunch of examples, including airplanes, Trump, Bitcoin, and a few other interesting examples. And as part of this, I'm also going to give you a general guideline, how to know when to trust an expert and when not to. Now, one thing that experts always underestimate, and this is important when it comes to investing, where we're trying to anticipate the future, experts always underestimate the power and the speed of technology. I remember this from the early days of the internet, when you had all the experts saying that the internet would never scale, that it would crash by 1998, it wouldn't be able to handle the traffic, etc. But this has been going on for at least 100 years. This is a famous article from the New York Times talking about how it will literally take millions of years for man to fly, and that a flying machine would require the combined and continuous efforts of mathematicians and mechanics for 1 million to 10 million years. Now, the funny thing about this is it was published on December 8th, 1903, and just 9 days later, the Wright brothers took off. And so this is the problem with listening to experts. I'll link to a great article here about the Wright brothers and this New York Times article, as well as this site talking about all these really bad predictions about what was going to happen. Here is a famous one from about electricity and using it for lighting. I don't think there's the slightest chance of electricity competing in a general way with gas. Electric light just is not as good. Here's something from the Scientific American journal magazine about the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal is actually a thing of the past, and nature in her works will soon obliterate all traces of French energy and money expended on the isthmus. So even highly scientific publications get these things wrong. 2020 has been the year of failed experts. A lot of people have forgotten that the WHO really hammered it home at the beginning of the COVID epidemic that you should not wear a mask. I'm not sure if they were trying to conserve masks. I'm not sure if they what they didn't understand about this. But this was a global health organization saying this. And now, I mean, you can debate whether how serious COVID really is, whether you need to wear a mask or not. But here's a preeminent organization at first saying don't wear masks at all, they don't do anything, and then saying masks are part of, where is it? Make wearing a mask a normal part of being around other people. Great article here from Fauci, from Business Insider about Fauci saying he doesn't regret telling Americans not to wear masks at the beginning of the pandemic. That's the problem with our elites. That's the problem with our academics and our leaders, is there's no accountability. And this isn't a Democrat thing. This isn't a Republican thing. It's really on both sides of the aisles. All of these experts, all of these leaders are just empty suits, in my opinion. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I remember this very well from 2016. I figured out that Trump was going to be elected in the context of this huge surge of populism that we had seen in Brexit, etc., and actually made some good money betting people on this. But here's a famous article from The Nation saying, relax, Donald Trump can't win, dated June 2016. Another article from Vox, why I believe Donald Trump will never be president, and article from the Washington Post from March of 2016, why Donald Trump won't be elected president. When you read these things and you go back and read them in retrospect, it really makes you wonder why you waste any time reading newspapers or reading editorials at all, because they are usually just so wrong. New York Times got this one wrong as well. Bitcoin has lost steam, but it's basically just a criminal technology. This was from January 2020. We will put on the chart here where the article came out right about here, when Bitcoin was approximately 10,000, currently trading at 23,000. And it's not just the newspapers, but it's the experts at the newspapers, the so-called economists like Paul Krugman, who basically is just a Keynesian who's in favor of infinite money printing. And of course he hates Bitcoin because it's a threat to the whole fiat system. But here's another famous article from 2018, where he declares the death of Bitcoin. We've had this for years from Peter Schiff, a supposed expert, financial expert. He's been bearish on Bitcoin since it was, call it $100, $200 a Bitcoin. Here's even a very recent thing from June of, well, this was actually published before. The halving was in May 2020, so this is from before that. But basically talking about why he thought Bitcoin would plunge after the halving. Just to put it on the chart, the halving was approximately right here, and Bitcoin has gone from 10,000 to 23,000, as we said. So these are the kind of experts you have to ignore. Another article from CNN from 2013, the Bitcoin bubble may have burst. Now, if you're a Bitcoin holder, you're going to be seeing this for many years. You're going to be seeing articles like this that try to separate you from your Bitcoin. If we scroll down here, what's interesting is it talks about Bitcoins were down to $77, huge crash, plunged more than 70% in the past 2 days. So just remember articles like this when we get the next Bitcoin drawdown, maybe when it goes from 50,000 back down to 30,000 and everyone's declaring the death of Bitcoin. This has happened many, many times before. And these people don't know what they're talking about. Here's a recent article from Fox News quoting Goldman Sachs saying that Bitcoin won't steal gold status as a safe haven. This is a little bit like, in my opinion, like saying that Amazon can coexist peacefully with physical bookstores, etc. Technology is a winner-take-all thing, and Bitcoin is just a superior money technology to gold. And we're already seeing evidence of this, that money is flowing out of gold and into Bitcoin. We had a great institutional example of this. This is the Ruffer Investment Company, which invested something like, I forget the exact number, $600 million in Bitcoin recently. And it was just someone leaked their letter here on Twitter. This is from Whale Panda. And it basically points out that in this paragraph right down here, that the company, the investment company, reduced their exposure to gold and then used that money to buy Bitcoin. So we're seeing these flows happening in real time, even as Goldman Sachs and Fox News, Business News, are saying that it can't happen. So how do you distinguish the true experts from the fake experts? Well, obviously no one knows the future. People can be wrong about things. But one sort of litmus test that I really like is one that was turned into a whole book by Nassim Taleb, where he talks about the difference between the experts who have skin in the game and those who don't. Skin in the game basically means that if you're wrong, you lose your job, you lose some money. If you make an investment and you're wrong, you lose money. It's very easy to be one of these people who don't have any stakes. You're just a journalist or an academic or someone like Paul Krugman, and you don't really have any skin in the game. This is very different. This is if someone says that they're bullish on Bitcoin and they also have a large position and they put their own money to work. This is what I did in this March 14th video, which I'll link to, and which I talk about why now is the perfect time to buy Bitcoin. This is when Bitcoin was $5,000 or $6,000 a coin after crashing. So when you listen to experts, when you watch the news, when you read a newspaper, you should always ask yourself, what are the person's financial incentives? And are they selling something? Are they like Peter Schiff, who is just trying to sell people gold, and so he bashes Bitcoin, and he has very, very poor intellectual arguments against it, but he's able to drum up a lot of Twitter traffic by bashing Bitcoin, or maybe he just doesn't understand Bitcoin. Or does someone have a lot of skin in the game? All the prominent Bitcoiners that you see on Twitter, all the famous ones, they all have skin in the game. They've all put their own money to work. They've ridden out the bull markets and the bear markets in Bitcoin. So I think this is a very good litmus test you can apply when you hear someone trashing Bitcoin, or when you hear someone making a prediction about their future. You have to ask, first of all, what are their incentives? Are they trying to sell you something? And number two, do they actually have skin in the game? Or are they just someone who gets paid by the article? They publish ridiculous articles clickbaity articles, and then it doesn't really matter whether they're right or wrong because they have no real stake in it. And as time shows, they also have no real expertise in the area, and they massively underestimate the spread of technology and the spread of things like the internet and Bitcoin as well. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe and like button. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.